tell me, do you watch Zaltrax? You will. Alright, everybody. So, I wanted to give my quick thoughts on Batman vs. Superman, because I don't want to do a full-fledged review of it, because I'm going to wait till the DC Entertainment Universe comes out more. That way, I can review them in a ranking like I'm doing Spider-Man. But I do think that right now this movie needs all the defenders it can get, and I'm here to fight for it. And instead of just watching me talk at the screen, instead, I'm going to be playing Arkham Knight as the Batman skin. And if you haven't beaten the Arkham Knight, the thugs might say something that spoils the game, but I'll try to cut it out if they do. Anywho, let's get started on Batman v Superman, my thoughts. Because I'm sure all of you were waiting to hear what I thought about Batman v Superman. First of all, I'm going to start with the spoiler-free review, like our spoiler-free quick discussion, and then I'm going to go into spoilers and stuff like that. So, spoiler-free, I really liked Batman vs. Superman because, and it might be because whenever I was about to go watch the movie, I had read a bunch of reviews saying it wasn't that good and all this other stuff. So it might be that my expectations weren't through the roof like a bunch of other people's were, because I had read that the movie was bad. And don't get me wrong, the movie had a lot of pacing issues, especially towards the beginning. Like, it would cut away from certain characters, and it would it felt like right whenever they were getting somewhere good, like where you would want, you're like, oh yes, okay, we're getting somewhere, it would cut to another character. And I mean, I feel like there's a simple fix for that. Like, if they had just edited it differently, it would have helped the movie drastically. But something else I'll say is that this is in spoiler free. Superman, I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think he is the best Superman we've had in a movie so far, including Christopher Reeve. I think Christopher Reeve was an excellent Golden Age Superman, but I think Christopher Reeve is a better... Okay, let me rephrase this. Christopher Reeve is a better Superman, like the way that he plays him, but I do think that Henry Cavill looks more like Superman. I think he looks exactly like what Superman would look like in real life. But in the movie, and this isn't Henry Cavill's fault. Once again, I think Henry Cavill did awesome with what he had, and he's amazing. And I'm one of the few people I know that loved Man of Steel, and I thought he did great in that. But I felt like he was a little too, like, gloomy in this movie. Like, he was just always like, oh, well, and of course, goes without saying though, and that isn't Henry Cavill's fault. Like I said, that's just how they wrote the character. But Batman in this movie, holy crap, the most awesome comic book accurate Batman that will probably ever be, ever. Everyone who said that Ben Affleck would have been a terrible Batman, which I'm proud to say that I was one of the people that said, hey, give him a shot. Everyone who said he was going to be terrible, they're eating their words right now, because he was absolutely phenomenal, insanely good as Batman. Excuse me. Except for one thing, which I'm going to talk about once I get into the spoiler section of this video. And don't worry, I'll warn before I do that. But anywho, the supporting cast was great. Alfred was amazing. Jeremy Irons, I love him. He's one of my favorite actors. Amy Adams, good as Lois Lane. Gal Gadot, we'll get more into that in the spoiler-free review, or in the spoiler part. I think she did pretty good as Wonder Woman. Her action was amazing. I will say that. Her in the action scenes was phenomenal. The action on all the visuals of the movie are amazing. Just great. Okay, so now, like I said, this is just supposed to be my quick thoughts. So, we're now going to get into the spoiler part of the review. Spoilers. And I will put somewhere on the screen where you can skip to if you want to avoid the spoilers. If you've seen the movie, then sit back, and we're gonna get into some things I did and did not like into the spoiler territory. So, okay, you still here? Greg, Greg, get off. Greg, you haven't seen the movie yet. Greg, get off of the spoiler review. Greg! Greg, get out of it! Okay, Greg's gone. Alright. Those of you who are still here, we're starting the spoiler review. Or the spoiler quick thoughts. It's not a review. I love how I said this isn't going to be a review, and yet that all I've called it is a review. Okay. Spoiler quick thoughts. Oh, I got you now. Okay. The number one thing I did not like about this movie is that Batman kills people. Oh my gosh, guys. That is literally like whenever, if you were explaining to someone like Batman, what Batman's all about, that's like the second or third thing you tell them is, oh, he doesn't kill people. That's like in The Dark Knight, that's a huge part of that movie, is the fact that the Joker is pushing him to the point to not break his one rule. And now, I guess that's not a big deal. Because, which I know I'm saying this as I'm gunning down cars. But, so, my question is this. If he kills in this world, how is the Joker still alive? Would that not be the first person that he would kill, is the Joker? But, I mean, I just wish they hadn't have made him kill. And I understand, in the dream sequence, I would have been 100% okay if he just killed, 100% okay if he had just killed in the dream sequence. But he kills in real life, too. But, okay, so that's that. One spoiler I did not like is that Batman kills. The other thing I did not like is Doomsday's design. Overall, like, I'm not one of those people that are like, he looks like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings. I thought it was alright, but one thing I will say I did not understand in the slightest, why did they make him so huge? Like, he is ginormous. He's like the size of the Superman statue. And that's not, like, Doomsday is like Hulk size. And it's not even like just me being a comic book fan and wishing they would adapt everything to be like the comic book. It's, like, it just didn't look as good. Like Superman punching him and, like, he's barely big enough to, like, it made Superman and Wonder Woman look small. And that's not what I wanted Doomsday to be. And in the New 52, they did the same thing with Darkseid, and I didn't like that. But I gotta say, I like this even less. How they made Doomsday so huge. Something else. Ezra Miller as the Flash. I mean, did Ezra Miller just show up and I'm talking about his cameo scene in the archives or whatever. The guy who's playing the Flash. Did he just show up to film that scene and they were like, hey, do you maybe want to dye your hair or cut it or, you know, make yourself at least look sort of like Barry Allen or Wally West, whichever one you are? But no, Ezra Miller was just like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna stay the way I am. This is gonna be grunge rock, Flash. I mean, he has a ponytail. Flash does not have a ponytail. But anyway, the Cyborg cameo thing, it was alright. I mean, it was kind of like whatever. I mean, it's that video diary. It wasn't like anything super crazy or new. I liked the Aquaman one, even though I do not like that design for Aquaman at all, because it's literally like they had two choices whenever they were making this movie, when they were designing Aquaman for the DC Entertainment Universe. They could have shown people what makes Aquaman so cool. Like, shown, just like in the New 52, they could have shown everybody, this is what makes Aquaman so amazing. He's an awesome character, he is threatening, he is a king, and we're going to show that to you. Or they could have forced you to see, like, forced you to think he was cool, I guess is what I'm saying. And I feel like that's exactly what they did with this Aquaman, just from his looks wise. Like I said, all he does in the thing is, like, stab like a drone or something, so I'm not really basing it off of that. All I'm saying is that, like, it's literally like they sat in a room or something and they were like, okay, name the 5 things that you think of when you think of a cool guy. And they're like, beard. And they're like, okay, tattoos. And they're like, all right. It's like, super huge gigantic muscles. And they were like, okay, there you go, that's our Aquaman. Like, I was kind of expecting him not to race off like he did. I was expecting him to, like, call a dolphin or something and ride off on it like a Harley. But Okay, and the last spoiler thing I'm going to talk about is the death of Superman. Obviously, big spoiler. I mean, it was alright. It made me cry, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good. It wasn't as good as the comic, but I mean, it was really gutsy. Like, I was like, dang, you guys are actually going to kill Superman. And I love how he realized. And one thing they did get really right was whenever he realizes what he's going to have to do, and he goes to Lois and is like, I love you, you know, you're my world. And because that's what his dad had said earlier, and I thought that was beautiful, and it made me cry. But a lot of things make me cry. And I lied. One more spoiler thing. Everyone's complaining about the reason that Batman and Superman stopped fighting, because, you know, he's like, you're killing Martha. Okay, and people are like, he stops fighting. He stops beating up Superman because his mom is his mom's name. No, that's not why, you guys. What happened is that Batman realized it wasn't that his mom's name was Martha. It's Batman realized that he was about to reach the point of no return. He was about to give in, and that's why he flashed back to the moment his parents died, the moment the Batman was born, is because he's realized how far he's fallen from his crusade, because he's not fighting for justice. He's not even fighting for revenge anymore. He's just hurting people. He's just fighting to break people down. And not what the Batman is about. That is not what his parents died for. Is not so he could become this killer, this man who would murder Superman. And that's why the whole Martha thing worked on him, is because he realized that, what would my parents think if they saw this? Like, what would my parents be proud of me for what I've done, like what I'm about to do? Like, and no, like he realized that no, his parents would be ashamed of him. And I thought that was awesome. And Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill and Amy Adams did so good in that scene, especially when Ben Affleck was yelling, "Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?" Like, I was like, oh. You can just see that he is just shocked and broken. Awesome! Ben Affleck is awesome as Batman! And that voice modulator. Freaking cool. Way cooler than, "Where's that snake? Where was the other dragon? Hello! I'll read it. Can't wait to write it." It is awesome. Like you're not brave. Men are brave. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed Batman vs. Superman. I thought they did good. I'm excited to see the rest of the DC Entertainment Universe. And sure, like I said, there are flaws with the movie, but they, without a doubt, do not ruin the movie. There's way more good in this movie than bad. So please, if you have not seen it and are not watching it because of the bad reviews you've read, go and watch it, especially if you're a comic book fan. Because there are a lot of stuff I didn't even say in the spoiler review, just because there's something that in the Batman's nightmare sequence. That's something I don't want to spoil for you. That's something that if you're a comic book fan, you need to go watch. And but yeah, go check it out. And if you have seen Batman vs. Superman, I hope I might have changed your mind a little bit if you didn't like it, or, you know, if you're like, wow, what is this lunatic talking about? He's an idiot. Why aren't you doing what you're supposed to be doing, playing video games? No one ever asked you to review movies. You're going nowhere in your life. Your parents will write about you. Anywho, so, yeah, so those are my quick thoughts, my quick, like, 10-minute worth video thoughts. Like I said, my definition of quick is very different than most people's. But, so yeah, I guess this is the end of the video. So, I know you're probably sad because you couldn't stop Bruce Wayne's parents from being murdered that night. But, you know what? At least that let him be the Batman in a later video. Cheers! Oh, man. Oh, he got me.